Hi there, I'm Andrew. Welcome to Adventure Rider on this glorious spring day. This is a good sign for the season ahead. I think we're going to be in for a good 2025. Today I want to talk to you about a few things I've been riding with for a while. One of them is my Kriega OS Luggage System. I've been riding adventure bikes for many years, and I've kind of used all the different types of luggage. I've been all around the houses. I've tried to find all sorts of weird and wonderful solutions, but I've kind of come back to the conclusion that the obvious choice, Kriega, is the best out there. And that's not exactly going to be much of a revelation, but I want to talk through a little bit on why this OS luggage system is just so good and so versatile for the majority of adventure riding needs. So I've tried hard luggage. We have soft luggage, we have hard luggage, we have these two factions that are quite vocally competing against each other. And there's no right and there's no wrong, but the benefits of hard luggage would be that it is easy to live with day to day, it's more secure, and obviously it protects the contents slightly better than soft luggage does in the event of things like a fall. But the downsides to it are it's quite cumbersome, it's quite heavy, and usually you need to add weight through things like racks to get the universal luggage to fit and so on. And in my experience, it's just not good for off-road. So it's perfect for city touring, commuting, these kind of things. But in a lot of applications, it's not ideal for me. My philosophy has always been to add as little weight as possible, because most of these adventure bikes already start off pretty hefty, and anyone that's wrestled with one in a remotely off-road setting will know that every little weight saving you can make is worthwhile. And also for that reason, I want things to be as streamlined as possible. I don't want things sticking out beyond the width of the handlebars and so on. So I've tried other brands who do soft luggage, and there's this notion of universality. So if a luggage says it's universal, often that means it's equally difficult to fit to anything. And once you've done it a few times, you just sort of think, I can't be bothered with this on a day-to-day basis. Kriega have a brilliant ecosystem that gives you the options to do whatever you want in terms of the size of luggage, how you configure it, and they have a brilliant, I would say, hybrid between the benefits of hard luggage and soft luggage in this OS system. So the OS means overland system, and it's the alternative to their urban system, the US bags, but they follow a similar principle. So the actual bags themselves, I have 3 mounted here. I've got 2 12 litres and 1 18, so you can have 6, 12, 18 being the main options, and with that you can configure a lot. So if you had 3 18s, I really don't see that you'd ever need more than that. But between the 2 12s and the 18 I have, that's everything I could need in any eventuality. One time I was going on my way to the ABR and I pulled up in a queue of traffic alongside a dude on a BMW 1200 GS, which is already a hefty monster of a bike, and he had literally every possible piece of luggage you've ever seen attached to his bike, from hard luggage to soft luggage on top of the hard luggage, all around him. And he wasn't a small guy either, and this must have been coming in at like 400 kilos. And he said to me, oh, you don't look like you're camping overnight then, I guess. And I was like, no, I am. I've actually already been on a 2-day trip. I've got all my video and recording equipment, which obviously a lot of people don't have. I've got my tent, I've got my sleeping bag, I've got an air mattress, I've also got an air pillow. I even have a fold-out camping chair. I've got my food, my clothes, and my spares. What on earth are you carrying? And that's kind of the point. So I really do believe that 3 18s at a maximum is as much as you're going to need, possibly with your tent kind of rock strapped on top of that. That's about as far as you'd ever really realistically need to go, or should, in my opinion. So you've got all the options with the bags. The bags are fairly straightforward in themselves. So they are a dry bag with a really rugged outer. They've got a nice white lining, which makes them easy to get things in and out of. You can see what you're doing. Just little details like that Kriega have worked on over so many years and refined, and they just get these things right. They come on and off really easily. So if I wanted to switch these out for different bag sizes, that's nice and easy to do as well. But the key thing for me is the OS base. So I will show you how to take a couple of these bits off. So I'll start with the top one. It's very simple to do, because soft luggage is often quite a faff to get on and off. But this one, I've just loosened the top strap slightly. Then you've got 2 clips on either side, or hooks I should say, that just go through pre-mounted points on the OS base system. That removes my top bag. Where am I going to put that? That removes my top bag, and then, you know, if you just wanted to have the 2 saddle bags on the side, keeping the weight as low as possible, obviously that's there as an option anyway. But as I will now show you, you have these 2 straps in the middle, which are the only option you have for tightening the base system. The base is like a saddle, so it's like tacking up your horse. So you just put the saddle on first, And Kriega, again, because they've been around for ages, they know what they're doing. All of the major popular adventure bike models, such as a Yamaha T7, of course, has its own specific base which you can buy, which is specifically designed to fit exactly to your bike, so it will be completely idiot proof. If yours is slightly unusual and it's not one of the ones they make one for, then don't worry, there are the universal ones, and they all work in a very, very similar way. And in this case, we have these two straps which you simply loosen on either side. Mine's a bit full of dirt, so it's a little bit stiffer than normal. And there's this hook that goes into, on the T7, this particular point where there was just a bolt before, and that just loops off, and that's just about it. That's how easy it is. So all you can tighten is this bit here. This one's just simply a pre-defined length to the hook. So you hook that on first and you pull this into place, so you do not need to worry about whether you've got it too far forward or too far back, and whether it's going to get in the way of the exhaust and things like that. I have an aftermarket exhaust here. This is an amazing HB Corsa exhaust that you can get through adventurerider.co.uk, and it goes under the seat and it doesn't cause any problems. I've had questions in the past, does that get in the way? Does it melt the bags? Absolutely not. And the great thing about this saddle system is that it's got all the benefits of the hard luggage, in the sense that it protects your bike because you have this perfectly fitted, very hard wearing base to it that then the bag sits to. So there's no jiggling about. It doesn't extenuate the bag further off the width of the body of the bike, thus adding to wobble, but also the potential to catch things. It keeps it as streamlined and as compact as it can possibly be, whilst protecting the bike. And it's really, really easy to fit and take on and take off. So if I get to where I'm going, clearly I can just take that with me. I don't necessarily need to deconstruct the entire luggage system. If I'm now going to set camp up over there, then I'm just going to go over there, open the bag, and save myself hassle in the morning. And then putting it back on, I will show you that as well. It's really easy. So we just sort of get it approximately in position. This one will go through the pillion foot peg. It will hook onto this hook that's attached to the actual saddle, so base itself, and then this just goes around, obviously in its loosened position, the Kriega hook that you get with the pack, and you just pull it into position, and that is in the perfect position. It's really that simple. So it's really, really easy to do. And if you do want to take this bag off, then yeah, you just take the strap or the base off like I just have, and you just unhook the bag from the mount itself if you wanted to swap out different bags or take them off altogether, or whatever really. I mean, you could just leave the base mounted if you wanted, but it's so easy to take off that I don't think you need to worry about those kind of things. So one thing to note is that with the Kriega system, with the Yamaha one, you get these 4 hook points at the back, tabs or whatever we call them, and under the pillion part of the seat they just go into pre-existing bolts there, and I just keep them on all the time. There's no need to take them off at all. Same goes for these Kriega bolts here. They're just very inconspicuous. There's no need to do anything with them, and that's really easy to just mount the saddlebag. Or the one I tend to use is a Tailpack on its own. So there's those 4 points there, that just goes on. So you can mount it direct without actually needing to have the base fitted. So for days where you're doing just a day trip, as I do with sort of day rallies and stuff with Rally Moto, I need my spares, my lunch and all the rest of it. It's probably more than I want in a backpack. So I actually put one of the 12 litres on instead of the 18. I don't tend to need that very often, and that has everything I need, nice and compact, strapped right down, doesn't jiggle, doesn't wobble. I've got it completely submerged, completely soaked, caked in mud, and my lunch has all been fresh and ready at the end of it. So the bags themselves, they're made brilliantly, be in no doubt about that. They come with a very good warranty. But the great thing about Kriega that goes beyond things I've said, I could spend a long time talking about the ecosystem, but there are things like, I kind of was in two minds as to whether to keep the passenger footrests. I do actually take my kids on it occasionally, so I've kept them on, but you know, pure aesthetics, I would actually get rid of that. But then I was thinking, oh, but I'm not going to have a point to mount that strap through for the front of the OS base that I just explained. They have a solution for that. They literally have a footrest delete system, and you just chuck it in there. It's specifically designed for my bike, and then it gives you a little hook, but does away with the big bulbous foot peg if you don't need one. Again, they just think these things through. They're brilliantly executed. I think they're fairly priced. There are cheaper, but there are more expensive. But everyone that ever has a Kriega has nothing but good things to say about it. So I think that sort of speaks enough in itself. So nothing revolutionary here. The Kriega OS system, surprise, surprise, is the best on the market. But I did want to explain some of the context as to why it's so good, why it's so easy to live with, and soft luggage doesn't need to be a pain in the backside if you go for something like the base system. There's other brands out there, American brands, that will offer you a similar kind of thing for about 10 times the price, and I will admit they do look lovely, and if I was given one free I wouldn't say no. But then there also comes that balance where, do you want to spend £1,000 on soft luggage that's going to get caked in mud, and if you do actually go and use the stuff, you know, in anger like it's sort of designed for, then it is going to get scratched, it's going to get caught, it's going to get torn, it's going to get dirty, and I don't want something that I've invested 4 figures into for that, whereas the Kriega stuff, it's at that happy medium for me. So I really love it, and I think the looks go really neatly too. So in all senses, a 10 out of 10 product from me. And yeah, I hope that was interesting, I hope that was informative, but there are probably other questions that I've overlooked, so please leave that in the section below and I'll get back to you shortly. And stay tuned for more video reviews of the world's best adventure riding gear and lots of adventures themselves beyond the studio. Thank you, see you soon, goodbye.